Hello everyone, I hope you are all having a wonderful day. You know, my viewpoint on a lot of things has changed over the years. When I first started YouTube about 4 years ago, I was all mad about everything. Like, how dare this guy say this? This guy's so wrong, I must humiliate him. But after doing this for so long, I've gotten so used to all the stuff people say, and now I'm completely indifferent. I can't actually be angry anymore, and I do a lot less bullying. Totally not because of YouTube's monetization shenanigans. Definitely not that. And the topics I covered changed a lot too. Did you know that my original plan was to only debunk religion? Yeah, I had no plans to do anything about flat earth, anti-vaxxers, or alternative medicine. It's crazy how your mindset can change so drastically over such a short period of time. And it's not just me, every one of us is changing, but because of how gradual it is, it's difficult to notice. Honestly, I don't know why I'm talking about this. Had some weird philosophical dream last night, so now I'm rambling. Perfect time to debunk the Bible.
Why I believe the Bible is true. Alright, some people say that believing in the Bible is like believing in mythology.
So disclaimer, I have indeed changed my mindset on religion a little bit over the last few years. Before, if someone claimed they were religious, I would jump up immediately and argue with this person on why he's wrong and why science is the only reliable method to obtaining truth about the universe. Of course, I still believe that, but I no longer really care anymore on what other people think to be true. This video would have triggered Professor Stick back in 2016. Now, if someone tells me they're religious, I just go, okay, I don't really care. I mean, you're wrong, but I don't care. So yeah, I'll just share with you what I think about this statement. Yes, I think your religion is basically the same as any other myth or fairy tale. There's no substantial evidence to prove it. Think of it this way. There are tons and tons of stories and religions out there, and when you have this many, there's bound to be one that reaches immense popularity. Christianity and the other major religions are just examples of that, and the more followers they have, the more likely someone is going to come out and pull out some sort of, quote, evidence, which after scrutiny will always fall short, especially in the rigorous battlefield that is the scientific method.
Some people say the Bible is only written by humans, therefore unreliable.
I don't think something being written by humans automatically makes it unreliable. It's a combination of things. If you're going to detail the thoughts of God, then that text being written by humans is weird. Not to mention that human error is always going to be present. Not just translation errors, but also copying errors, which essentially makes this a game of telephone. I think religious text is good to have for cultural reasons, but to believe it literally is pretty stupid. Although I can't hold this point against religious people though, because even if you claim the text was written by God, it would just be even more ridiculous.
Some say that the Bible is erroneous due to multiple handwritten copies.
Telephone was one of those hilarious games to play as kids, and sometimes you can identify the exact person who fucked it up judging by his or her reaction. Good times, good times. Now that I'm older, the game is no longer fun. The Bible is basically a massive game of telephone, where people standing earlier in the line are dead and can no longer tell you what the original message was. And this is a game stretched out to over 2,000 years. To believe it word for word is literally trolling.
This is why I think the Bible is true. Number 1. 39 different writers from different time eras and generations of 1500 years apart from different cultures, continents, languages, educational backgrounds, occupations. They all wrote about their experiences and characteristics of God in a uniform manner.
John 1:18. No one hath seen God at any time. Looks like either John was lying or everyone else here you showed on screen are lying, in which case why believe anyone at all? Frankly, if I were given a story on a spiritual being watching over us, I wouldn't believe anyone's words, much less those from centuries ago. I would require hard evidence, not something that someone says. The scientific method will never ever believe eyewitnesses, even if they corroborate with each other. There's a good reason for that, so the same should be applied to this. Just because a few people supposedly claim the same thing does not make it true. Now, you could say that what John 1:18 meant was that God never showed his physical form to everyone, which is so dumb because you could twist the word physical to whatever you want here. How do you even know he has a physical form if no one saw it? But anyway, even if we give you all that, I still do not believe that the depictions of God are all 100% consistent. These people writing the New Testament can't even get the day of Jesus' crucifixion consistent. I flipped through those pieces of text that he showed on screen and I simply don't see any consistency. You're probably twisting the words to make it have some sort of metaphorical consistency, which simply scores you 0 points. Not that it would score you any anyway. Give me physical traits, like consistency on what they said the color of God's eyes are, then we'll talk.
The picture of who God is and acts in Genesis doesn't contradict how Jesus acted or will act in Revelation.
Christians are always saying this, but that simply is not true. Well, if you're talking about the God only in Genesis, then he doesn't really do much, so there isn't much to compare. But the God of the Old Testament in general is an entirely different being than the one of the New, with the OT God being this merciless murderer who apparently can't be stopped by iron chariots, and the NT God being much more pleasant. Of course, that's just the general feels and actions, but if we want to go into specifics, they even teach different things. Here's one of my favorite examples. Your eye shall not pity. Life shall be for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, hand foot for foot. Amazing lesson to teach people, by the way. Always get revenge for people who do you wrong. Just phenomenal. Now let's see what is said in the New Testament. Matthew 5:38. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you not to resist an evil person. Whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other to him also. It's funny because Jesus literally addresses that exact point that God said in the Old Testament and was like, nah, that's wrong. Of course, in the time of Jesus, cultures and viewpoints have changed in regards to revenge and punishment. But God is supposed to be all-powerful and all-knowing. An objective God would not change depending on the culture of the people following the religion. If he does, then that just means the religion created the God, not the other way around. See, here's a specific example that I brought up. You need to bring up specific when you're trying to prove the Bible here. Giving us vague descriptions is not going to help anyone.
Number 2. The Bible contains the most humanistically impossible fulfilled prophecies. While most people make vague predictions like Nostradamus, biblical predictions are more specific and documented to have occurred.
I haven't heard that one before. Oh wait, I have. Not just from Christianity, but from a handful of other religions too.
Here's just a few. A. The birthplace of Jesus. It was written in 700 BC that Jesus would be born in Bethlehem. Who knew that Bethlehem would still exist 700 years from now?
Yeah, but was Jesus really born in Bethlehem? From what I could find, it seems that scholars generally agree he was born in Nazareth, deduced by working backwards from historical events. The accounts supporting Bethlehem seem to have many contradictions, but even so, again, eyewitnesses are not evidence for anything. I personally don't care where Jesus was born, I just care if people take something that is very ambiguous and turn it into some story of prophecy. The fact of the matter is, there's not enough information to 100% deduce the birthplace of Jesus.
B. Jesus would come from Egypt as predicted in 700 BC by Hosea.
Using the Bible to complete prophecies predicted by the Bible. The classic move. I don't think I need to explain why this doesn't serve as evidence.
3. The Gospels are accurate. How do we know the Gospels are accurate? A. At a time when followers of Christ were being killed, would the disciples decide one day to make up a figure and pretend Jesus fulfilled all those prophecies? Would people die for something they knew was a lie?
Now you're just assuming things about people. Are you saying that people never died for something that was misunderstood or false? Because there are plenty of examples out there. There's a cliff called the Suicide Cliff, and it got its name from the thousands of Japanese civilians and soldiers who decided to commit suicide during the end of World War II, because they mistakenly believed that the Americans coming to capture them would mistreat them. I mean, this is just one example out of many in history. People don't always know the truth, nor do they always not die for a lie. In what way does willingness to die for a lie somehow validate the story of Jesus? What an incredible leap of logic. Okay, so I only have time for one other claim in this video. Let's skip to that.
Okay, number 4. The Bible contains scientifically advanced statements for its time. For example, A. In 700 BC, it was already written that the earth is round. By the way, in Hebrew, the word circle came from a word that means spherical.
Ho ho, the flat earthers are gonna hate this one. It's funny because here you're basically implying that science is the ultimate form of discovering truth. Apparently the Bible being consistent with science proves it's true. In that case, science would be the ultimate truth. And since science says that the earth was created by the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago, instead of God creating everything, that must be true also then. Unless, of course, you're just conveniently picking out the parts of science that the Bible somehow randomly and vaguely predicts after a batch of twisting the words in the Bible, then that would be an issue. Oh wait, you're doing exactly that. Look, there are tons of statements in the Bible that do not predict anything in science, and plenty are wrong too, such as stating that the sun moves around the earth rather than the other way around in Ecclesiastes 1:5. If you really think the Bible has predictive scientific capabilities, come up with something that science has yet to discover, because so far you're just conveniently grabbing whatever you can that somehow vaguely matches a scientific discovery in the past and using it as proof of the Bible. This applies to everything you have listed here. Anyway, that shall be my time today. Shorter video today, sorry about that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share, blah blah blah. Shout out to Fireshard, Liam, Alan Morton, Don Jessica, Joe Goldenberg, and JN. Bye bye.